Going on, y'all? We back at it. Tonight, this is a quick little meetup. We just kind of wanted to touch bases on our VIP group and what to expect going forward. Steve's going to be doing a lot of the heavy lifting on this one. So, Steve, the floor is all yours.
Appreciate you. Listen, guys, so in the last couple months, we've been restructuring a lot of our systems, right? So being that we're coming on 2 years with the university in November, it was only a matter of time before we knew that we had to do these updates. So if you know the amount of content that we pump out, the amount of training courses that we have, the updates that we've done to the training courses, like this is an industry that's constantly moving fast and things are changing. And then we have new access that are coming in. What we said to you guys last year is different to how we're introducing things this year. So everything's changing month by month. Now, with that said, a lot of our focus last month was on the EYL show. Champ and I, we had the university had a booth space there. So we had to pretty much get all that ready. And just in doing that, I wouldn't say that's what forced us into it, but I wanted to push the systems, the new coursework. Before, we used to give you PDFs. You would have to download the zip file, and then you would have to get the document, do a whole bunch of prereqs and things like that. So as you know now, if anybody has the access to the new course, you could drop in the chat what you think about the new course. Even if you took the course prior, it's still good the way that the course protocol is in a way where if you wanted to go back just to blockchain or just to cryptocurrency or just to day one health and wellness, everything's broken down into its own lessons. So you can always play it back easier. So this truly makes it a lifetime course that's easy to work with. And then if you're new to it, you can mark, complete it, and then you'll know where you left off. And then we have downloads, slides. So Champ, if you want to just queue up what it looks like, and then once you have it up, I'll just bring you back on and you can kind of show them, a little bit of the lay of the land of what it looks like. So we just finished up the trilogy. Guys, I did about 50% of the trilogy people I ended up finding you guys and I added you to the system. So if you never registered for our last masterclass, then that means you're not in our new automated system. So in our automated system, we have email addresses and we have phone numbers now. So now we're able to contact you a little bit more direct without you having to wait for Discord or things like that. So we are sending all the logins for the 1% through that system. So I posted a message in there for you to go to the 1% chat. And even in the beginner chat, if you're not registered in the system, please register so that way you can get updates. As social media right now is, and this is crazy because the next masterclass that we're doing is September 13th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And actually Champ and I are bombing on it. We're starting today and then into the whole week. So it's basically, we're talking Fed now, we're talking CBDC, and we're talking social credit system. So even that in itself, and we did a couple small talks with it, but guys, we went so much deeper into content and information because from the time that we did that, the industry has transpired so much. So we're giving you access to trackers to know what countries are implementing CBDCs, where they're at in the implementation. We're giving a lot of good value in that masterclass. Now, what stood out to me the most, and then, if you make the call, you don't, I'll just drop it anyway. The social credit system is wild because the more I started to dig into it, I'm starting to realize that the social credit system is not being ran by government. It's actually being ran by Silicon Valley, right? So making the connections between these guys are judge and jury, right? So they just automatically decide that Champ and I shouldn't have our content out because it's financial literacy and it's to a particular community that they don't really care about that agenda so much. So we're basically getting shadow banned from something that's supposed to be a public site. We built our following so we can't even get the message out to you guys because it's being blocked. This is happening all day. So just showing you that the social credit system, we are kind of already used to being canceled without due process, right? And when you look at all the celebrities, when accusations come out, the first thing that happens is everybody jumps ship. Before the proof, before the trial, before the charges are even brought, you know what I mean? So we're just living in a wild time right now. So with that said, all our systems are up. We have a few more We have a few more courses that we're building out, and then we'll be completely done, and we'll be able to, now we're going to start focusing on our VIP. And this is the nature of the call. So we're looking to aim to do 4 VIP talks, right? That's solely VIP members. Because I'm realizing that a lot of people aren't utilizing the play calls to make money. And then one, I get it. You guys don't have the time. You got to put in the time to be a trader, or if you know how to auto trade. And this is part of the stuff that I'm going to be doing in the VIP talks. One of the days might be, how to trade on autopilot with Steve. Boom. How to do spot calls with Champ. So now we're going to start giving you guys extra value. You may not see it in the sense of making money now, right? But trust and believe, the content that we have and the place that we're bringing you is, and it's outside of the crypto situation. So with me being the health and wellness guy, and Champ is also a health and wellness guy too. So what we're going to do is we're going to start to compile talks, things that we can do, actually going over the practices together, journaling. I took Tony Robbins' course before in the past. I took a lot of courses in the past, and I'm sitting on a whole bunch of content and things that I did to transcend my life. And now I'm going to start to, just repurpose and repackage that. So you guys don't have to pay thousands of dollars for the stuff that I already have. So I'm going to start to share that in the VIP. And what do I mean by that? So there's this, let's just think about weight loss, right? Because weight loss it tends to be the one thing when you think of health and wellness, that's the first thing people want to do. I want to get healthy. I want to lose some weight, or I want to put on some weight, right? One of the things that I'm realizing, and I posted this the other day on social media when I said, you can't make a change to something you don't understand. You see what I'm saying? So we over here, we're chasing our tail, trying to chase money, right? Anything that you chase, and then we have to just be mindful of the words that we use, right? So anything that you chase does what, Champ? Automatically. I can't. You're on mute.
Y'all can hear me now?
Yep.
All right, there you go. Now, what'd you say?
Anything that you chase is doing what?
It's running from you.
Okay.
It's fleeting.
Anything that you lose, you want to do what?
You want to get it again.
All right. So I'm going to lose weight, but I'm going to gain it back.
Right.
This is why everybody's on the exact same cycle every single time. So the VIP has always been near and dear to me because I know those are the people that are really dialed in. But again, in building all these systems, there was just so much time being put into just making sure that the university is just automated, and that's all Champ and I cared about. So we're 90% done with the automation. And then the other thing too is we have a lot of eyes on us. We have a lot of shows coming up, so we just didn't want to be bogged down with new people coming in and not being trained properly. Because a lot of you, I'm noticing on the call, you guys were part of our group where we held your hand throughout the training. So you got a different sort of situation. Now we got a ton of people that are taking the training. We don't know where they're at. If they took it, did they process it? Do they have questions? So that was part of the automation. So in this, just talking about the health and wellness portion with the losing of the weight situation. So I'm going to start to give, and then I do this in the health and wellness channel, but I'm realizing that a lot of people just can't get into each channel in real time. So by the time you do get into it, you may not play catch up with all the messages and things that are in there. So I feel like if we just do deep dives into particular topics specifically for VIP, you'll have more of an incentive to dig a little bit deeper. And this is everything that we're going to give you, is everything that could help you in your current life now. I don't care what industry you work in, health and wellness, and mindset is just, it's always going to trump anything first. So what I like to say is, there is a guy, Gary Brecken, I've shared a lot of his stuff with you before. And Tony Robbins is doing this too with a company called Life Force. But you're starting to see a lot of private companies doing blood work, right? So even me working with my primary care, metal tests, there's a whole bunch of tests. I asked him for a testosterone test. He's like, Steve, it's a waste of time. Why do you want to do it? What would you gain from the information? This is how my primary care is talking to me. But remember, the insurance, they're mandated by insurance companies, right? To tell you what you can or can't do. So it wasn't until my last physical with this guy, and I'm 45, going on 46 now, right? So he's reading this computer and he's telling me, oh, you got a shingles vaccine coming up and you got this coming up, you got that coming up. And I'm like, what the hell happens? Right? So I'm like, hold on, doc, that computer is telling you what I need, right? He's like, yeah. So it's a baseline system. So everybody that's 45 needs to do this. Everybody that turns 46 or 50, like it just puts us all in the same regimen. It's like saying that the vaccine works for everybody needs it. There's no out the box approach. So I'm starting to notice there's a lot of private practitioners now, private doctors, private services, right? So since the pandemic, it's created this market for either going holistic or just looking for private situations, right? This public system right here is a farm. These doctors are supposed to get you in and out within I think 8 minutes. So this is why you see so many rooms. So he's in, the nurse works you up, he comes in, how's everything doing? He knocks your knee. All right, yeah, keep doing what you're doing. Takes the blood test. If there's any problems, we'll call you. I'm going to call you anyway. Like, it's the same spiel. They all have the same script. So when I saw that, I was a little concerned, right? Because I'm a guy who's really big and prideful on his health. And I'm like, yo, there's people that come in here that just aren't, and they don't know the questions to ask. They're not doing the due diligence. So I'm actually giving him results from private blood tests that I take, and he's taking it as if I'm undermining him. But it's like, what am I supposed to do? I'm going to pay cash for these anyway, because the insurance company doesn't want you to establish what's the word I'm looking for? Not premeditation, but when you're looking out for your health prior, like you don't deal with it when you have a problem.
Oh yeah, where you're just, I mean, I don't know the word you would use for that, but that's
Somebody just drop it in the chat. Somebody got the word. Anybody dropped it?
preventative.
Preventative, right? I'm a preventative guy, because if once a year you take a blood test, there's no telling where that level is going to go. So you want me to come in here with my heart stopped to cut me open? Forget testing me. You really need to start blood testing every quarter, right? And not full blood tests, just certain things. So when you're dealing with private companies, there is no limitation to what test they can give. So they'll give you a full workup, right? Every vitamin, every mineral deficiency, every deficiency that you have. This is what's creating the issues with us not being able to either lose or gain, or losing hair, or iron's low, magnesium here, heart issues. So everything in those mineral and vitamin deficiencies are all what leads to this disease, right? So once you can figure that out through a comprehensive blood test, you can see, okay, my vitamin D levels are off. And once vitamin D is off, I can tell you that everything else in your body is not going to be hitting at the right point. Once magnesium is off, once iron is off, once zinc is off, that's it, guys. We're exposed to all types of things. You understand? So these are the type of things I'm going to start to zone in on our meeting calls. Whether or not you could afford it, I'm just telling you that you're going to pay for it, and possibly in your life, the way that these guys are playing with us now. So like I told you before, we tricked you into believing that Skype and Crypto University was just about crypto, and it's not. This is truly a group, a powerful group. One, we're going to get this bread. You stay on this ride, you listen, you've been through the 1%, you know the projects, you're dialing in, the shit's coming, right? But what I really want is I want this tribe to be here. Because there's no point. I don't want to amass wealth to just leave it to kids and let them do whatever. No, that's not what I'm put here for. I'm going to spend every last bit of my shit on myself and my wife. And then we'll set them up in different ways, right? So even this type of talk right here, showing you, giving you an insight of how Champ and I run our households, maybe it can help. I got a ton of guys in my inbox, the little bit I do post on my family, and they're asking me personal, questions of how am I connected to my wife like this? So, and I'm sharing, but now I'm figuring, you know what? Let me get into my VIPs first, get a better understanding of who Champ and I are intimately. When the liquidity dries up, you start to realize that there wasn't any really shit moving, right? So your influencers, your CEOs, all these entrepreneurs that just started in 2020, they didn't do anything but outside of just answering the call. When money is flowing in any community, I can show you that everybody could make money and thrive as long as we're circulating the money amongst ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And that's what happened in the Black financial sector. I'm not going to put Champ and I in the same category as Black financial sector. Why? Because the first round of people that were getting money or selling product was what? Credit repair, right? You needed a good credit score to get the PPP loan. You needed a good credit score to get any access to any funds from the government. So that was the first thing that everybody ran to do, was the credit hacks. Then after the credit hacks, you ran into, all right, let's raise the capital now. But then we have to show the people what to invest in. We were left behind. Nobody was talking crypto. Nobody wanted us on their platforms. Everybody wanted to sell. Now people are selling you ways to raise debt. So you have to pay me to raise debt. This is the new twist now. So as I'm watching this influencer situation, if you didn't know, I've already separated myself from influencers, and by way of calling Champ and I our visionaries, guys who can look back, present, past, future, and present, and put things together with the best interest of people in heart, right? Because if it was about money, I would be doing real estate right now, full-fledged. See what I'm saying? So it's not this crypto situation is not about money, because it is hard to sell people on something that is the future, especially in the Black and brown community. We do not farm to harvest, and we eat what we can today, because we live in scarcity mindset. So a lot of this stuff we have to start to bring to the forefront now, because these people are just talking about money. Like, we're going to get to the money, but if your mindset is not right, then you're not going to make the adjustments to be able to, one, create more income, and two, know how to grow income, and three, know how to just chill out on the overspending. You see what I'm saying? So I'm just going to introduce, and I'm on this ride with y'all. I'm not higher than I'm next to everybody. Put me at the bottom. I don't care who sits on top of me. I just got some shit to say. And then on top of that, now we could open up intimate talks where everybody could be open about certain things. And if somebody has something to bring back to the community, then we can share them. Because I'm realizing that on the Discord, you don't know who it's landing on. Like, there's no emojis. There's no, hey, that's great, thank you. Jerry, I appreciate you, Jerry. Jerry's big in the health and wellness channel. You know, a lot of stuff that I post, he's taking heed to the stuff. He's actually partaking in things, and he's the only one posting of his receipts, basically. I'm like, but we should all benefit from that, right? Because we're all going through things. So health, wellness, and mindset is definitely out of the 4 per month, you're going to have one full class on that. You know what I'm saying? And then, of course, crypto is crypto. So once you get through the boot camp, you get to the 1%. What are we talking about at this point now? We're waiting on regulations. We're tracking. Everything is going into 1% as far as updates, right? We're tracking all the updates that are happening overseas. Now what we have to do too, in the month, you'll also get an update on just kind of like BRICS, what's happening with that. How soon are we from the collapse? So you guys can start to make your adjustments.
CBDC advancements.
What the United States is saying versus what's actually happening, because they're already testing CBDCs, right? That's already happening in the United States. There's a lot of states, there's a lot of people testing universal basic income. Mayors of small towns picking 500 people. Atlanta is one of them. They've been doing that for a couple of years. And the crazy part is, who are they picking? Black females, Black single females first. Yep. So now start asking yourself, what do they want with y'all? You know what I'm saying? And I'm hell bent on moving forward into the year. Like, people got to be hands off on our people right now. We have to be self-sufficient. We have to believe in who we're following, you know what I'm saying? And make sure that they're not going to lead us down a particular path, because the amount of influences in the last 2 months has been hurting my brain with what's been happening. And I get bought into it because I'm following a lot of these guys. So I can't avoid what's happening. So now they're putting all of us in the same batch of all of the Black scammers, right? Everybody at EYL was a scammer. And I'm just like, that's not really the play. Because there are a lot of people doing good work. And even with our counterparts, like these guys, they invented the scams. You know what I'm saying? We learn from them. Like, we're not creating these systems to oppress ourselves. They're put on us. And then you get the big fish, little fish situation. So I'm not going to sit here and call out names. I'm just telling y'all, be careful with who you follow. You know what I'm saying? So we'll start to give you certain questions that you need to ask your financial advisors, your influencers, your mentors. If they're not looking at the future and they're just telling you, yo, invest in Airbnb and doing all this. And I was in real estate at the time. This is why I kept yelling at the top of the hills. I'm like, do not buy those properties at top dollar, right? Because if you can't sustain market rent to cover mortgage, then you're underwater at that point. And this is exactly what's happening. People were buying at the height of the market, fixing up these apartments, getting all this money. Now nobody wants to go to Disney now. Right. So now we have homes in Orlando about to be on sale. Because what else do you go to Orlando for to get a 10-bedroom house?
Hello.
So I'm off the system situation. I'm on pouring into the VIP group, and that is the nature of this call. So if anybody has any topics that they, things that they want to discuss, drop them in the chat, or you could DM Champ and I personally, and then we'll make sure we add it, to the agenda. If anybody wants to work behind the scenes, and doesn't want to put out personal information to the entire group, the Champ and I are willing to, take on certain things and do some workups. Again, it's all time sensitive, guys. We can't spend too much time on it, but we do have enough in our real world that can point you in certain directions. So I have this RPM thing that I learned from Tony Robbins, and it kind of helped me get on the path to just organization. And what do I mean by that? Meaning, so if you want to lose weight, you have to reorganize. You have to be mindful of the words that you use with it, right? So in RPM, once you title it, and we're not going to say you want to lose weight, you want to get to you want to be exact, 135 pounds. I want to get back to 135 pounds. Let's just say that's what it is. Because losing weight is arbitrary, because it's like, all right, so 1 pound or 100 pounds. So we have to be a little more exact in it. So what RPM teaches you is how to make what you want to do exact on paper. So it's exact in your mind and in your body. And then when you go through the steps that it's going to take, right? Because how many people really analyze that? You just say in your mind, I'm going to go to the gym. When? How many times a day? What time? So RPM teaches you the structure of breaking things down like this. All right, so going to the gym is one aspect of it. Okay, handling the food is another aspect. All right, so what's causing the weight? You think, oh, I eat out a lot. I eat fast food. All right, let's curb it down now. Right? In the last month, I went to Chick-fil-A 9 times. All right, let's get it out. We don't have to be excessive. Let's go 2 times. You see what I'm saying? So not only are you saving the fast food situation, but you could be saving money too, in the same sense. And then there's the meal prep process. So now you put all this process together on this RPM chart, and you visually see it, right? Because if you don't understand what's happening, you can't make the adjustment. You're just going to say, all right, January 1st, we in the gym. And then by January 10th, gym's empty. We can't operate with this New Year's resolution thing. I don't even think in the last 3 years, anybody's even done New Year's resolutions anymore. Right? Because what was the New Year's resolution? What's the classic New Year's resolution? This is my year.
Mm-hmm.
That was the last thing I said in 2020. I'm like, I'm going to crush 21. And then I'm like, wait a minute, what the fuck just happened? Right? So that taught me a lot. For one, we're not in control of anything. And they shut everything down. So we're about to go through more hell. Actually, this is going to be worse this time around.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So this is why we want to focus on just mindset, so that way you guys just don't we can't have them fucking with us again to the point where we were really outside of ourselves trying to figure things out.
Mm-hmm.
Kill the noise, dig into self. You know what I'm saying? Because if any country really cared about their citizens, you would put protocols in place to continue to be a healthy society, right? Get rid of this. Don't make alcohol essential. Don't make cigarettes essential. Like, if you really care about people and it's a lung disease, then why not just take cigarettes off the market?
Mm-hmm.
So this is all capitalism. But listen, I'm a capitalist at heart, right? But I also got a soft spot for people. So I'm not going to run over you just to grab some money. I know I can get it, but I need to assist other people, because what the fuck, man? I don't want to be a target out here. So health and wellness, super, super big. And the part of the understanding, to go back to it again, is the Gary Brecker situation. They have 80 markers of blood tests. You cannot get 80 markers of blood tests from your insurance company currently, right now, without coming out of pocket heavy. So once you get that, now they give you a workup to show you where the deficiencies are, and where they are, and then what it's causing. And then you can start to see where your root problems are. So once you solve the root issue of the deficiency, everything else falls into place. You see what I'm saying? So if we can come all together as a group, Champ and I can broker situations and get us group discounts where we're not paying as individuals, because we're forced to be reckoned with. This is what the VIP is all about. The VIP is also, next year, is going to convert into, you guys to be the first members of kind of a crypto association that I've been working on, right? And Champ doesn't even fully know, and I've thrown it around, but doesn't know the intricacies of what I'm trying to do. So the reason that we need to form some sort of alliance in cryptocurrency or even blockchain technology is we need to have a voice as a collective, right? So when we get all this bread, what do we have to do? We can't just be out here fucking it around. We got to come together, and we got to put this money to work, right? Pressing elected officials, making sure that, there's an agency that has a voice. So you guys don't have to do much. As long as we have signatures, we can create documents in the association, and we'll make sure we get them in the right places.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the true way to really get your footing in this country right here. They don't care about nothing else. But once you're a political donor, and I don't do the politics situation with the vote. When I get into politics, I'm going to be a donor. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to affect, the who I want in place. And that's how things really get done. This is why a lot of these policy guys, when they make rules, they're not the ones making the rules. The guys like Champ and I would send them the law that we want because we paid for it, and then they would just then put it in law. Sometimes they don't even retract our names or the person's name; they'll just put it in the bill. So just showing you that the politicians are bought and sold. It costs hundreds of thousands of dollars for one vote. So how much did you pay when you voted? So who's paying? The person paying is the person controlling. So these are the type of things that we're going to start to bring to the forefront. Understanding money. I don't think there's enough people that understand what money is. Shit has no intrinsic value. If it goes up in smokes, what would you do? You know what I mean? If it costs you $9 to fill up your gas tank, it's just $9 to fill up your gas tank. You make an adjustment, but are you making any more money as we're fighting through this inflation? Do you know how much worse this thing can get? I'm a guy that can always create and pivot off the fly. So I'm going to be fine in any environment. You know what I'm saying? But I know most people, they're just relying on jobs. And then if they lose this job, then it's like, all right, well, if that whole industry goes, then what skill set do you have at this point now? So this is why we're teaching you how to run, cell phone towers. This is why we're teaching you, and now we're going to go into more of the case use of cryptocurrency, right? So if anybody's been watching the Helium play that we gave out months, almost a year ago, $5 plan in Miami, unlimited talk, text, what's happening now. So now once I follow Helium, I'm able to follow the mobile industry, and I fall on Amazon's about to come give out a free phone. So what does that mean? Amazon's going to give you a free phone. When it's free, we told you already, you're the product. So everybody's going to be running to these free phones, but your whole life is going to be connected to this phone. So they're going to make their money off of this, because clearly charging somebody $100 a month for phone service is not in the future cards. So do you want to be a trailblazer? You want a free phone, or do you want to run a network and make money? That Helium situation, guys, and you're not looking at it. Helium Deploy, they have I think tomorrow it launches. So you guys should go to that website. Champ, just Google it, Helium Deploy. I think it's .io or something. It's 50% off the hardware. So what I paid $2,400 for is $1,200 right now, right? So you're paying half, and they're only running that special tomorrow, right? And I've been dropping this thing in there. So the first Helium situation, when I made the call on Helium before I got the miner, Helium was about 36, maybe 40 cents at the time, right? They were giving out bonuses, because this is how you get paid. So that's it there. Champ will drop it in the he'll drop it in the chat. You guys just grab that. So they have a summer sale right now. So this particular equipment right here, from the time that I put it up in my house, I've accumulated well over 4 million tokens, right? And then I'm in with Champ. He's got his chunk. And then we're just operating this. So what happens now? When Helium HNT was rewarding miners, what tends to happen is they have a certain amount, I want to say they almost 1 billion tokens they had just on growing the space to build the infrastructure, right? So this is how they're giving us. So I was making, I think, about 24,000 mobile tokens per day just by keeping my miner active, my Sigma, right? They since cut it to half. So now we're only getting about 12,000 per day, which is still good. So just to give you an idea, HNT went from 40 something cents and it topped out at $55, right? So if you follow Helium, you know that they're on a Solana blockchain. If you follow Solana, Champ, who's one of the big guys behind the Solana ecosystem, hedge fund guys?
Who is that? Not Black. JP?
Nope. It's a personal guy. Not a huge company, a personal guy in the crypto space, but he's considered a crypto billionaire, but he's part of the Solana network. He went on EYL.
Mike Novogratz?
Okay. So when you follow Mike Novogratz, you start to understand that he bought the Solana ecosystem. He put a lot of money into it. So they're firm believers in it. Not only him, but Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank.
Yeah.
You hear them talk about Solana. There's projects being built on Solana, and Helium Mobile is one of them. They just haven't made the direct announcement. So what Mike and them did the first time was their friends and family and investors got in on the HNT side as they were building it. The network operators who bought the Helium miner and put in their homes to get the rewards were getting the rewards. And then once they topped out at 1 million something people and they had a good signal coverage, they started to lessen the rewards. But the problem with Helium at the time was they needed mass adoption. They were Internet of Things, so they needed the partnerships to then sell the data to, right? So as they're building the partnerships, Mike and these guys and the family members were early adopters. They had the tokens. When that shit got to $50, guess what they did? They dumped it. Price dropped. We're under $1. We're around $1 now for HNT. So Helium ended up putting out the mobile situation. They signed a 6-year contract with T-Mobile. Guys, I can't emphasize to you enough how big this is. The price of it today is 0.0002, right? So we still have some room to move, but the liquidity could come in here quick. So what did they do? What did they do 3 weeks ago? The city of Miami, the mayor of Miami is one of the most crypto-friendly states. Champ and I went down there to shoot the Plan 1 B-roll because it was crypto-friendly and it just made sense. Now, the mayor of Miami is already in with Helium, and there's big things happening with those guys too that are happening in the background. So Miami being the first test ground, what Helium is doing now with mobile is they're rewarding people in Miami, miners, extra, because that's their first test site. So what do I mean by that? Miami is the only city where you can get the Helium mobile phone, and it can work with any phone. So it's not a special phone. They're integrated. Your existing iPhone, the SIM card is integratable, right? So they launched a $5 a month unlimited talk, text, and data. And this is going to be rolled out nationally. And I knew this was going to happen, right? Remember, Champ, when Helium first came out, I was like, this is going to be a cell phone company. Because if you're going to build this coverage, and think about it, guys, the reason that the Internet of Things is going to be one of the biggest sectors that nobody talks about is because where do you think you're going to get all this signal from, the data? Who's going to store the stuff? Who's going to access it? Miami already has autonomous vehicles. Every street light, every camera, every toll, everything is going to be smart in our ether. So they need internet in order for it to work. Now, when you have this signal, you can start putting these $1,200 devices in particular areas, and you don't have to erect hundreds of thousands of dollars behind getting towers. Right? Yeah. So that's the only way to get signal nowadays is through towers. And these towers, sometimes you could pay an individual $3, $4, $5. I've heard even to $10,000 for rooftops a month. Right. So think about how much they're charging the cell phone carriers to sell that data back to them, for them to repurpose it to then sell it to you in your plan. This is why our plans are so expensive. You understand? This one right here is a disruptor. So think about it. If Champ and I are sitting on a couple million mobile tokens, 6-year partnership with T-Mobile is on no exchanges, no major exchanges right now, right? Once it becomes widely adopted and this cell service works, you telling me this shit can't get back to $55 or even $2? So if we're sitting on 3 million times $2, what's the number? What's the number? Champ, what's the number? 3 million mobile tokens at $2. What's the value there?
3 million at $2, that's 6 million.
$6 million, right? How much does the equipment cost, Champ?
Under three grand. What is it?
And today with the Helium deploy on the summer sale, how much are you paying for it?
Let's see. So I believe it was 17.
Half price, $1,200.
$1,200.
$1,299. I paid $2,500 and then shipping. Yeah. So this is a hell of a price right here. So all I'm telling you is I don't have to do much outside of just claim the rewards every day. And sometimes I don't even claim it every day. It might be every 3 days, and then I'll have a chunk in there. You know what I'm saying? And I have to keep some Solana in there, and it's fractional. It's really small, but that's just to pay my fees to carry everything down. But I mean, it's small, like hundreds of a penny. So it costs me nothing to really maintain it. So what I'm doing now is we're headed down to Miami, and we're going to start installing these in the first place that they're actually working. So if anybody knows anybody in Miami, partner with us, please. You know what I'm saying? I'll come in, I'll sell them on the project. We'll make it make sense for everybody. You know what I'm saying? So if any of us, it'll be better if one of our students was living in Miami and we dealt with you direct. But if we got to deal with a middleman, then, you know, you got to know that this person you have is trustworthy. And we're controlling the wallet anyway. So they have everything to lose. We have everything to gain. But they could turn off their internet. They could not pay for their service or move, you know, it could be things like that. Or, you know, the power can go off and they didn't power it back on. So there, you know, there's things like that need to be done. So with that said, I keep telling you guys, this is a solid project. When you start to look at the things that are going to make money in the future and down economies, is always number one thing is food, right? Anybody that's selling or growing food, they're going to make money in this time. And then if you can save people on monthly subscriptions, that's a major disruptor now. So in the chat, can everybody drop what on average, what do they pay for their cell phone bill? As an individual, I don't need the family plan situation. I'm just telling you that this is $5 unlimited talk and text. And it's backed by the T-Mobile network. So when this is not picking up its own signal, it's going over to T-Mobile, and T-Mobile kind of works a lot. I have T-Mobile. Look, $80, $86, $60, right? So you're telling me at $5, we could literally, you guys could have 10 to 20 phones right now. And this is what I would do because, you know, to be honest, I got a separate phone now just for crypto.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this phone don't touch the emails. It doesn't touch anything. My personal phone does. This is the phone I operate with crypto on. So when you start having $5 plans, it's not a big deal to have 2-3 phones laying around for different uses, right? Take helium a little more serious, guys. I'm tired of like beating that one into the ground, but it's the one that has the most case use right now. And I'm telling you, before you blink, this company is going to be at a couple dollars and y'all going to be kicking yourselves. Champ, just do the math on 3 million times $10.
So that's 30 million.
And I'm telling you that this shit is not far-fetched because I know for a fact Mike Novogratz and them cashed out at the peak. And these guys were holding tens of millions of dollars in something that didn't never even materialize. So I'm telling you that they back for round 2 again, only this one has solid case use. You know what I'm saying? The other one still had to be grown out and developed, and mass adoption needs to be put. But here, you put a $5 plan out, there is no mass adoption. Mm-hmm. It's just like, yo, what's the worst that could happen? Mm-hmm. Let me try that $5 plan out. And this is what's happening in Miami. People are signing up left and right down there. And when you look at the coverage map in Miami, it's really concentrated right there on South Beach. You know what I'm saying? But that northern, you know, that 20th Street and up, there's not one cell phone tower there. Not one. So I'm just telling you that we're headed down to Miami because the rewards were cut for half, but they're saying that the rewards in Miami are actually they're actually rewarding more because that's their first test market. So again, if you guys want to partner up, let's do it. If you guys just want to partner up and not have anything. So Helium Deploy, that website, they actually do have that. They have places where you can buy into their locations, right? So now you don't even have to, you know, service it or do anything. They do everything, and then they do a revenue share with you. So we're going to take a good page out of their book. So for people that just want to get on, that want to maybe own part of it, all of it, some of it, we'll curate some things. But this is only for my VIP members now, right? So it's things like that we're going to start to bring to the forefront. And guys, just drop a 1 in the chat if you think this, based on what you've seen with the Helium, if you watched the Q&A that Champ and I did, if you looked at the document, if you looked at the case use with it, put a 1 in the chat if you think this thing can get to $1. So what are we talking about right now, guys? Just think about it. What are we talking about? So if we missed the wave on that first one when it went to $55, Champ, what would $55 be at 3 million?
Ooh.
So we're talking about 150 million at that point.
165.
You see what I'm saying? So it can't be believable because we don't understand that it is for us. Right? And I'll be honest, I'm gonna give you guys a vulnerable situation. Even with me with money, sometimes like people, I have to put some of these things in the calculator, and I'm scratching my head, and I'm like, I avoid it sometimes. So I'm not even really calling it into my life the way I should. That's why we don't have good relationship with money. So this is where I'm taking this VIP group to, right? And it's each one teach one, right? So the teachable moments could come in ways that we fucked money up, could help every single one of us, or in ways that we got out of a jam. And then the next thing with the real estate group is the VIP group is my real estate company now is back active. I'm on it, right? So everything I do, I'm going to bring back to the group. So right now I have a line of 14 properties in Detroit right now. They were all newly built, not the best quality, but they were supposed to be low income, affordable. But a lot of them have come to market, right? And they were all built in 2005. So it's some of the newest projects in Detroit. So the houses don't need that much work to bring up. So I just give you an example. I'm able to catch them for right around 20K. They're worth between 80 and 100. Most of them only need between 20 and 40,000 in, right? So we got to play. We can either do one or two things. We can sell all of it for cash, because I don't like single families for whole, right? So sell all of it to just accumulate cash and then be able to buy larger buildings to keep everything under one roof, or hold on to single families and just wait for the market to turn a little bit. But listen, think about it. At $100,000, what's 7% to 100,000 in interest? And what people fail to realize is, and this is some of the things that we'll bring together in the talks, is 1 or 2% is not a way that you run a country, right? Those interest rates are not, they're way low, and they kept it suppressed to not put us underwater way faster. You understand? So get used to the 5%, because that's where inflation really should be. So even when they're talking 2%, they're bullshit. These guys do not know how to balance a budget correctly. The reason why 7% is not scary to me is because on the commercial side, I've been paying north of 5 and even 7% on my properties on the commercial side, because it's not in my personal name. You understand? And I tell people, why are you so stuck on the interest rate and not the purchase price, right? Because you can't have a high interest rate and then a high purchase price. This is where the market has been like a little flat to me. So I'm watching all these real estate influencers selling people all this shit. I'm like, I have no fucking clue. The numbers don't make sense right now. They didn't make sense for me, and I sat out. So now you got all these happy-go-lucky new people in the real estate, and they're losing the properties that they paid 20 grand for. It's not even worth 40, and you need 80 in renovation. Mm-hmm. How? So I'm going to start calling out certain people in the VIP group, not publicly, but just if you're following these guys, be careful, right? There's a land bank guy, selling, he's out of New York. He's selling people, how to invest in land bank properties. Listen, and he's in Detroit, because I see a lot of his posts and I see the numbers. Oh, you can get a property for $1,000. People's ears peak. They perk up. Listen, I can get you properties for under 500 right now in Detroit. But it's damn near a rebuild. And in the neighborhood, there's nothing on the blocks, right? So there's no comps. So the numbers just don't make sense. And these guys are for $3,000-$4,000. This guy's teaching you how to pick up $1,000 properties that you can never do anything with them. And don't get me wrong, there are some properties on the land bank that you could turn profit on, but those are the ones that get bidded up to $15,000, sometimes $20,000. But if you don't know how to read those properties, and then these guys are teaching you how to read land bank properties in different states. So if you don't have boots on the ground, you don't know what the property looks like. Because at $1,000, who's even thinking about? Who cares? I just got the house for $1,000. This is how our people are thinking right now. So I got to get back on it and take this real estate thing by storm now. You know what I'm saying? All the biggest influencer guys that ran through EYL, what's happening now? They scamming people out of money and this a big bit here and this. I don't know. I just know that where there's smoke, there's fire, and maybe some people made money with them, maybe some people lost money. But the one thing I could say is you can't just send people money in a suitcase, you know what I'm saying, and then cry when the contract doesn't go correctly. Like, none of these guys are registered with the SEC. None of these guys are even doing business correctly, right? You're buying into their influence. You're buying into their lifestyle. So, and then everybody's crying, when they lost money. And again, I feel for the people that lost, but the thing about our people is, because it's so easy to get the access to the money now from the banks, you're not doing your due diligence. And when you release the money to whoever you're releasing it to, right? Because you're so pressed. And I noticed 100%, because I can show you DMs with people hitting me on Instagram like, yo, listen, I know you do the crypto thing. I just got $20,000 from Rad. I just got $50,000 from Herman, and I know you're their guy. Can I send you the money and you can do the play for me? I'm like, what? I'm like, yo, that ain't good. I'm like, give the money back because somebody else is going to take that money from you. So they're not even looking to invest in the knowledge. Because I'm like, listen, I got some product for you. You could put a little bit of that money aside I don't have time for that. I'm like, but you don't owe on the money. If you don't spend the money, you don't owe on it. So just because you get a credit card doesn't mean that you start paying on it. You don't pay on it until you start using it. So I'm like, yo, just give the money back. You're not ready yet. I come from the era where you had to bootstrap businesses. What do I mean by that? You come up with an idea. You don't have the money. We just didn't have the means, right? So you do everything that you can, and your money is your time, right? So now you're telling me, oh, y'all raising all this fucking capital and nobody's putting in no time, and you're just hitting somebody up on Instagram who you saw driving a Maybach? Oh, okay.
Nasty work.
Bad work. So health, wellness, if you in the 1%, and this is for people that's not on the call, please look at the chat. I gave instructions on getting into the automated system so I can add you to the 1% course. That's included, guys. There's no extra charge for that. It's just lifetime. I just need you to get it a little bit better. And then the good thing about the course is when Champ and I change things, guess what? Once you log in, it's going to be right there. And then what we'll do is anytime we change something, you'll know exactly what was edited, what was changed, what was added, or what was omitted. We have to do that because if you're still dealing with FTX after the debacle, then you could be part of it. And we don't want y'all exposed like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. We have a new masterclass dropping September 13th. I told you it's decoding the invisible systems, guys. People aren't caring about it because they don't think that this shit is really happening. My barbershop the other day, right? So my barber, he was like, yo, Steve, I'm gonna stop accepting Cash App after September 1st. So I was like, what happened September 1st? He was like, oh, they have to legally submit anything under $600 has to be submitted to the government. And I'm like, bro, that didn't go through, right? They tried to pass that bill, but it didn't go through. So it's whatever. Now I got to pull out cash to give this guy, which is stupid. He actually believes that not even in his lifetime or his kid's lifetime, this guy's 40 years old and his kids are under 12. He said cash would never go away. Physical cash. Now, this is Dominican. And if you know anything about Dominicans, Chinese, like there's certain people that run businesses in this country and they don't accept no credit cards. You know what I'm saying? It's all cash. So I'm like, all right, so what are y'all going to do to prepare for this? And people don't think that this thing is really going to happen. So I'm like, but when you go to the store, are you spending cash or are you swiping the card? He's like, most stores, I'm swiping the card because they don't accept cash. So I'm like, all right, so don't you see the first phase of it is to take money out of circulation? And then I'm like, all right, so you amass all this cash from cutting hair or doing whatever you're doing. Now, when they're no longer accepting cash, how do you transfer that cash to make it digital? And now that Fed now launches, is everything now running through central bank? All your transactions are running through a government agency.
Mm-hmm.
So that means they don't have to subpoena records anymore, right? You say something, they cut you off. All of it is already happening. When you looked at all of it between the last year with all the social media companies that's been in front of Congress that touted misinformation or blocked people from saying certain things, now they're backtracking to show you that it was orchestrated with the government and the pharmaceuticals to make sure that they drowned out the information. So we're already living in social credit system, and y'all don't even already know that y'all being trained for this because you stood in a long line to get a swab up your nose. Okay. This is the type of shit we're going to talk about in the VIP group to make you guys, you have a stronger mental fortitude if you think you're going to be operating hundreds of millions of dollars. This is why lottery people, 90-something% of them lose all the money within the first year.
Mm-hmm.
This is why most athletes, no matter how much they amass after their career ends, they don't have a pot to piss in. There was no way I'm going to allow anybody from this university to have the same outcome because you don't have a second chance to get it right. After this, I think y'all know the writing's on the wall. Everything's going to be automated. Everything's going to be digital, useful, useless. Where you at? I don't want no phone plan. I want to amass wealth selling data. Is that not the biggest play for the VIP? In any group, there's not, and I pop into all of these groups, nobody is talking about this project. Nobody.
And they refuse to.
And then when it's time for y'all to come on, guess how much the minors are going to be? More. Guess how much the rewards are going to be? Less.
Yes.
So y'all keep playing. I'm just telling y'all, figure out a way. If you believe in a project, 50% off if you sign up with the deploy, because they're releasing it tomorrow, but you have to be on the list. They only have 100 of these, each of them, so they don't have a whole lot of inventory. And I'm telling you, I'm gonna count for at least 20 of them. So y'all already in the back. Y'all already behind. And not to block anybody up. That's just on them. I'm just telling you how much I need to make it make sense. And then on top of it, I'm gonna bring people in the VIP who want to be part of it, and then we can start to deploy them. But I'm telling you that we need to send all these things to Miami.
Miami.
Champ, you got anything for them?
Nah, I pulled up the course. Do you want me to show them? Or?
Oh yeah, show them. So for those of you who don't know, and the 1% course will look just like it too.
All right, so you guys can see my screen right now?
Yep.
All right, bet. So once you enter, this is what you guys will see. This is in a preview of the student view. So as you sign in, you're going to get your own password and login. Once you get it, make sure you make your changes just for account security. You know, that's the first and foremost thing. But you'll start your course. It's going to bring you to the introduction section. Welcome to the course. We give you the outline and objectives, everything that's going to be covered. A little bit about Steve and I. We give you the links to join the Discord, so you're brought in properly to the family, to our home. And then we give you additional links and things like that. First day, just like those who took the boot camp, you all know health, wellness, and mindset. Steve walks you guys through an incredible journey. And look how detailed this is. Look how many lessons are under this category. So you got health, wellness, mindset and health, self-awareness, daily journaling, breath work, astrology and numerology, meditation, exercise and stretching, holistic medicine, sunlight, sound therapy, aromatherapy, grounding, house water issue. Like, he gives you the kitchen, right? And he
actually click on a house water issue.
Got you.
I'm going to show you guys how wild this is. And even if you're not drinking house water, you shower in house water.
Bet. You want to play it?
No, you ain't got to play it. What you can do is you can scroll down. All right, click on the document, the PDF. So every course lesson has a PDF built into it, and then once you download it, you got it. It's all self-contained. Click on that link. Guys, EGW, this is the database where they have to hold all the water data in the United States, right? Put the zip code in right here, champ. 19406. This is my area, Aqua Pennsylvania Main System. That's the name of the utility company for my water, right? Boom. All right, so view utilities. This system gives you all the contaminants inside of your water that have been tested to date, right? So this is telling me that 16 contaminants exceed the health guidelines, and they're not doing shit about it, ever. And the water's still brown in Flint, Michigan, just so you know. Scroll down. Look at this shit. I can't even pronounce none of this stuff, but it's 167 times what the limit is, right? If you just look at the name at the top and look at the second line, it's going to tell you what the possible cause, what it could do to your health. What does it say, Chan? Read the first five, and just the one word with the C.
Cancer.
Next.
Cancer.
Next.
Cancer.
Next.
Cancer.
Next.
And cancer.
Okay. Y'all see where I'm going with this? So when I tell you that there's valuable information in here, and I think a lot of you guys are playing around with this as you drink this water, 542 times the legal limit.
Ridiculous, man.
All right. I don't care how much money I have. This is crazy. This is what's fucking with us right here. It's the very thing that you have to touch every single day in your home. And I live in an affluent area. This is the bullshit.
Facts.
Can you research? Just click back. Matter of fact, let me give you a zip code. Do another zip code. Tell me when you're ready.
Go.
Hold on. All right. So go 48501.
Flint.
Yep.
So 12 out of 26.
All right. Damn near half. Keep going.
Crazy. 422.
And listen, if I give you the median income of Flint versus the median income of the first zip code I gave you in Pennsylvania, it's night and day. Night and day. And our numbers were crazy over here. And one of the reasons too for those numbers being crazy is we have a lot of pharmaceutical companies that are in our county.
Absolutely.
So where's their waste going?
Right into the people's homes.
Okay.
Right into your water systems, right into your skin.
So I gave you on the health and wellness, I gave you like full water systems for the house. I gave you reverse osmosis systems for your sink. But ain't nobody pay attention to that one.
Listen, man.
One more thing for my ladies. And then you can put a one in the chat. Oh, y'all ladies want to be honest. How many women in here have low iron? Or had low iron before? Put a one in chat. And if you don't know, I could, you know, there's a good chance. So when you think of like thinning hair, always tired, you know, you try to tell yourself, oh, it's the kids, it's this, and I got, you know, it's one simple level, that's all, in most women. And that's the leading cause of death in this country is heart issues. And most of it start from a low iron count that could be tied to a heavy period. You know what I'm saying? So these are all things, just even having my wife working and she'll come in and give you her story on what she went through. And, you know, so this is what we're here for. Fuck all that money shit. If we're not going to live prosperous, then what's the point? I'm not trying to be wheeled around.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I'm so hell bent on this is because another vulnerable story, and it's in the health and wellness too, but the welcome message to the health and wellness of why I even created that is my father has Parkinson's and dementia. I've watched this guy deteriorate, goes from walking and talking to nothing. It's the slowest death that you could watch in life. But then when I started to track everything back, everything started with diabetes. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And being Haitian American, first generation Haitian American, most Haitians and Islanders go through this issue with diabetes because of the portions, the rice, the bananas, that, you know, they don't know how the foods they eat break down in their system, you know, so they'll tell you, oh, there's no sugar in rice. And I'm like, all right, bro, got you. Mm-hmm. So these are all things, guys, and nobody in this room is like, you know, a young pup really like that. And if we do have one, you know, congrats to you. But, you know, as you start getting older, you know, these motors start to change a little bit. So this is what the VIP membership is truly about. And I'm glad you guys stayed on long enough to let this materialize. And hopefully we can get, you know, we're going to get more people in here. And they'll have a full gauge of it, but do not ignore this stuff, guys. Like literally, Champ, if you want to drop that in, if you have the boot camp already and you're in this, just go ahead and put your zip code in. If not, Champ, just drop this website for them in the chat, and then they can have, you know, they just, you know, you'll never drink from the tap again. Well, grab it from off the dock, but do me one more favor. Go back to the dock, because they always say New York has some of the best water. Y'all heard that too, right?
Laughable.
They always say, and it's crazy, you know, when we lived in Brooklyn, I'm like, hold on, this water goes from cloudy to clear. What is that about? 11217. See how good this New York water is. 10 out of 18. That's over 50%. 892. God. More
Nuts.
cancer.
All cancer, cancer, all across the board. Everything.
And guys, this is when you hit details, you get into a little more nonsense. So we're not going to go down that way. But if you want to fuck around, you go ahead and you can fuck around.
Yo, Steve, what you said? You installed a reverse osmosis system?
Yep. And I gave everything inside the health and wellness.
I bet.
Yeah, the reverse osmosis is at my sink. That's for my drinking water, and
I'm familiar with it because I use it for my plants. I'm familiar with it.
Okay, so you know what's happening now. The bath situation, I got a whole house water system, right? And then you can connect, like they have UVs that are going through the stuff. You know, there's a whole lot of new technology.
I bet.
Just showing you how we be hustling backwards, Mo.
Nah, you're right. I needed this to wake up right here. I needed this.
Wow, man.
Appreciate you.
You already know. You've been locked in for a while now, so I appreciate you.
Hanging in there, man. I'm hanging in there.
Listen, we all are. And we lean on each other. We good.
Facts. You're right. I gotta do that more.
Yeah, so just like I said, the VIP calls, they're going to be, even if you can't make the live call, they'll be pre-recorded. And then there may be some stuff where Champ and I just wheel something off and then just deliver it to y'all. We don't need anybody on the call, really.
That's cool.
But when we do have the calls, if you do come on, please come on with an open mind. Come on to add. Good, bad, or indifferent. I don't care what it is. We got to start building a little bit more. Like I said with Champ, the purpose of us really starting this, guys, I don't want to be the smartest guy in the room. Mm-hmm. Champ doesn't want to be the smartest guy in the room. We need to build everyone as a collective, you know? Yolanda, I know you're doing you're sitting for some real estate courses, right?
I actually completed it.
Okay.
I got my license.
All right, congratulations.
I took that test. So I'm ready.
What state are you in? You're in Pennsylvania.
I'm in Michigan, and that's why I was sitting here and I was about to message you, but I'm like, I'm too embarrassed that you're not even here. You know all this kind of stuff, and I'm in Detroit. I don't know.
I'm coming down in a couple weeks. Let's get up.
Okay.
Let me show you around the town that I ain't from.
I'm like, I live here. How he know? That's why I got the license to try to help me get access.
You have a broker yet?
I did. I just literally Friday, I just signed up with one.
Okay, cool. You're not paying fees monthly, are you?
No, that's why I chose them.
Okay, I just want to make sure. I got some good people, you know, that can give you some stuff. And then I like the smaller brokerages because you can learn a lot more and you're not competing with, like, you know, everybody.
Well, they kind of got me a little bit. They told me it's no fees and they cover everything, but they truly don't. But it's all good, you know, because I know I'm a teacher. I'm a science teacher, and I can't give up my job right now. So I needed somebody that would help me with getting leads, and they would do that.
Okay.
So I got to get the first 3 on my own. So I'm like, wait a minute, what happened to the help? But it's all good because I plan on just going full force in the summer. Because in the summer, I actually could already came out because I brought years teaching. So I could have came out in June, but I said, I'm gonna wait a little bit, but I'm still trying to go at it because it's what I really wanted to do for a long time. Just my personality is not, you know, soliciting. That's just not my personality, but I'm trying to, you know, come out of my little shell and do some things. Like I can talk and I can teach and I can do all this, but trying to solicit, that's not quite me. But they told me I wouldn't have to do a lot of that. So.
And listen, so when you're going after end user, so what I will do for you is I'm going to give you one of my deals to represent me on. You know what I'm saying? So I'll be down in, I want to say the next couple of weeks. Okay. For at least 3 days. So if you can make some time,
I definitely can.
Yeah.
I'm tired of working all these jobs and not really doing what I want to do and love. And, you know, I need to know how you and Champ got this knowledge though, because I'm a researcher. And so I'm trying to, half of the stuff y'all have taught me, I still can't find it on the internet. It's like, where'd it go? And like I said, I'm a researcher by nature. I'm a science teacher. But I'm
Yeah,
learning and I'm just staying on it. And thank you everyone for the congratulations. Believe me, that test was hard. I just never knew how much you needed to know, because I actually got into real estate because I really want to invest. But now I'm really making it, like, I want to make it work for not just me, because what I had to learn and these laws, I'm like, they're getting over on our people. I know they are. It's like, if I can help people, really understand this, because like I say, if I don't understand something, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna research and I'm gonna ask questions. Everybody not gonna do that. So now I'm really I really want to do it. Not just, I do want to invest, but I really want to do it for, to help people. And I know that sounds like a cliche, but it's real, because when I had to learn all these laws, I'm like, oh no, I know they getting over on people. I bought 3 houses and they ain't never told me this, but luckily I knew enough to research on my own. So I really do want to make it work.
That's cool. And listen, I have my real estate license too, but I can tell you the downside to having your real estate license as a developer or a real estate investor is you can't play dumb. Right.
Yeah.
You're held to a higher standard. We have to disclose that we're real estate agents. You can't play I didn't know game. Right. So that's just some of the downsides. But again, if you're honest and you're just disclosing, then that's the way business should be ran anyway.
Yes.
You know something, say something, fix it. So yeah, I'll be down in 2 weeks. So this is the part of the game, guys, that gets fun. When you have a network of individuals that are close, we can start to do some exchange. So she's just in the VIP group or in, part of San Francisco University, but she can get benefits from someone within the group that needs a service. So part of the VIP is also to connect to see what everybody does, where everybody could add value. So the Detroit thing is I'm about to take that by storm, because, and it's funny because they have this saying about Detroit. So when the United States has a cold, meaning it's sick, Detroit has the flu. Right. So think about how bad our economies are getting right now. And this is like everywhere. So think about those cities that are like Detroit that rely on only a few industries to really make money. Or if you're part of that tech community, you can get money. There's people that get money in Detroit. Right. Grosse Pointe, like there's some stuff out there. Like, it's definitely not what people are telling you. Detroit is a lost leader. I've believed in it for a while. And this is why I'm comfortable making that move. And you know where I'm at too, Yolanda. I'm in 48224. People don't even go to those zip codes that's from Detroit. I spend the night at some of my properties.
That's where I teach, in that zip code.
That's a tough zip code.
Yeah. But I used to live over there too. But that's
you know about the East Side. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a born East Sider. Okay,
so you know already. But so you know the stigma that comes with the East Side.
Yes, I do.
It has its challenges, but I love it. I'm like, listen, it has to go to the East Side. It has to, the city's not that big for it not to touch that. All right, Yolanda, you're gonna be seeing a lot of me soon.
Awesome. I look forward to it.
So get in my Discord and drop your cell phone number for me, and I'll send you my travel dates.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have real estate, of course, crypto, but crypto is going to be really secondary in this group right now, guys. Trust me, if we have something, it's in that 1%. Champ's going to give out some spots. Champ will show you how to teach you how to read projects. You want to give them that play? And most of them should already have it on this call.
Yeah, we can. Who is everybody? Is everybody in VIP?
No.
So now
You know the play I'm talking about. It starts with the R.
Yeah, that's the other one. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. We could wait. We could wait.
You want to wait?
Yeah, we could wait for that.
Oh shit! I tried, guys.
Yeah, no, we could wait for that.
Oh man, this guy's a wild boy.
No, but I got a list. I got a list of some other things for everybody. That's gonna go out to everybody. So yeah, y'all not gonna be left out. But that play in particular is gonna be for 1% and VIPs. But I got some other ones for everybody else.
All right, cool.
So if you really want that work, make sure you sign up for that VIP group. So I'm about to start dropping. I got a ton of projects I kind of been digging into. So you know what time it is. It get crazy when I throw the hoodie on. You kind of know where I'm going.
If you're interested in the helium play, no matter what the capacity or level, DM me, so I can just know the level of interest that you have, and then I can just put you at the top list to because I'm going to be buying this equipment, so I got to put together a plan to get as many people involved as possible. And guys, trust me, when you get the helium wallet, it's easy. And I've been doing the transfers with Champ. You get them coins pretty quick, right?
Fast, super fast.
So when we deploy it, we'll be in charge of deploying it, hanging it, maintenance, making sure everything's online. And then if you come in, as a ground level investor, we'll agree on the amount of coins that you get. And once you get your wallet, we're just transferring on a monthly basis, up until, when you sell, that's your business. You know what I'm saying? We're just opening opportunity for VIP members. And this is going to be a constant, guys, because as the industry starts to materialize, because think about it, if we're ahead with the information and you can't find it out there, just imagine when mass adoption comes, how fast this stuff's going to be hitting people. So Champ and I are going to be able to navigate these waters, and you guys have time in the market with us. So you don't have to worry about trying to get the information the way that we consume the data, because this is what we do full time.
Mm-hmm.
You're buying time in market with us. So we're going to always compile the information. You've seen every document we've put out that I feel has been organized and easy to follow. And we're constantly making updates and changes. So we did the EYL show. We're looking to do some stuff with a lot of conventions, guys. And we have some podcasts coming up where they're going to start to highlight us. So slowly but surely, I think that the problem with the Black or melanated financial industry, and even the ones that have the access to the most people, they want to wait till crypto actually blows up. I've heard this, and Champ's heard this directly. What did that guy from EYL say to you? You don't have to say who he is, but what he's up at the top.
Nah, actually, I was just about to share that. So verbatim, he told us it depends on how the market is doing at that time and if there is a need for it to be discussed, which is the detriment of everybody, right? Especially when you have a platform that's that large, that has that much attention on it, and it's all about financial literacy. It's too late, right? You're going to make every single person who's a retail investor miss out on the opportune time to invest in certain things. And it's still a ton of people who don't even know about crypto, right? You might have heard it cross your ether, but you know nothing about it, right? Which is why we created the university. We're the gap filler for that. But now think about it. You get the perfect opportunity to invest in something while it's emerging early, and then nobody brings it to the forefront. Nobody's talking about this. And then it moons, right? So you've missed out. And now you've missed out on your last chance to get in another industry before mass adoption. That's a disservice. You know what I mean? That's actually a honest disservice. And these are the same people who are investing into your platform, right? They're giving you that attention. So I always have my battles with these guys, because that's kind of the sentiment around the board, right? People in different industries, they all do this. They don't really want to talk about it and bring it to the forefront. Oh, it doesn't look too pretty. Oh, the market tanked. The market fluctuates.
You know what? And this is crazy, because the guy that it came out of his mouth is a founder. Then there's 4 founders, and I had no clue.
Mm-hmm.
Until we got to the thing, to see what's happening. The other issue with these guys is they have counsel now in billionaires, right? So billionaires are guys that want to just dominate, right? Don't give them too much and don't give them too little, but you can keep them coming back. So these are the guys that are mentoring these guys, the Robert F. Smiths, the Steve Harveys, the P. Diddy's, and Kiara, you were at InvestFest. What was the one thing that Robert F. Smith said to people to do with their money?
Oh, he said to invest as much as you can into your 401k.
And if anybody knows Robert Smith, he owns a large hedge fund, right? So 401k is the playground for these guys to fuck around with.
Yeah.
So this is what people paid money to go to InvestFest for. And I don't have anything bad to say about it. They got to get it together, because it was just a lot of people. I just don't think they knew the magnitude of organization they need when something like that gets big. But I felt if I was to run something like that they needed a few more breakout sessions that were specific to industries. So forget the big stage. Let's get some smaller rooms where people can drill down on topics. So you could have a crypto room, then another breakout room for Airbnb, then truck, whatever. But people need to go there for education. Once you turn this thing into a festival, listen, I've been to the Magic Show. I've been to, we got enough festivals.
Mm-hmm.
That's our problem. We be partying too much.
Yep.
So it just felt like, the very thing that we're trying to break free from, they're actually immersing the culture back into it. But the culture is what is weighing us down. The imaging that these guys are showing, the overnight success, right? Because that's how it's being shown, right? These guys aren't showing you the blood, sweat, and tears, really. You're just seeing final product.
Mm-hmm.
So for this billionaire to come on, and trust me, I follow Robert. I wouldn't work alongside him, but I was shocked. I wasn't shocked, but again, we're not the most educated as a collective, so we can get taken advantage of pretty easily with a lot of our mindset.
I truly I got to sit in that room amongst the population, right? Just to kind of glance and just kind of feel the vibe and the energy in the room. And these guys are on stage telling people to essentially invest in your 401k. And the most disheartening part about that whole situation was the fact that everybody in the audience, I'm seeing a ton of people with notepads and they're actually eating this information, right? But the crazy part about it is they're ingesting this information and they're holding on to this while the guy on stage is already a billionaire. And because he's a billionaire, you automatically take his word as law, right? And then the people who end up being the most affected negatively are the people in the audience that are taking these notes. So this is why we don't care how many times we get told no, or they try to shun us or whatever. We're in these guys' faces. We're on the front lines bringing this stuff to them at every turn. Every single person you could think of who's quote unquote somebody with a platform, we've reached out to them. We've told them, like, you're doing your people a disservice. It's time. Your people got to notice. And then, what's going to happen is those are going to be the same guys with pie on their face. Because, of course, they have the money to kind of sustain, but it's everybody else who's been listening to these guys who's negatively affected, right? You're the ones that get impacted the most because you keep using these shiny objects to dangle in front of the audience. And that's not right. That's the part I didn't like. You know what I mean? And I understand these guys kind of have their own agendas. This is what they do. I get it. But everybody has to be aware, and you got to really like kind of tap your neighbor. Everybody got this duty. You have to tap your neighbor like, yo, listen, that's not 100% right. We got to figure out something as a collective. This ain't it. And that's why a lot of people come to these events and they leave unfulfilled. So they keep going year after year after year. And I'm not hating on nothing EYL got going on, but this is just something I physically and personally witnessed myself. People were like, listen, I came here for education. I came here to leave with gems, with something else that could kind of catapult me to the next level, right? It's cool to be in a room with other people who are somebody, but when you leave unfulfilled or leave without that information, it's a void. You come right back next year and you spend 13 grand, 5 grand for this. And the only thing they did was bring new celebs, parties, and they do this all the time in Atlanta. I'm here. You know what I mean? That's it. But you left the experience with nothing. It was just the fact that you could take pictures, shake hands, and you're around other entrepreneurs. That ain't it, man. So, just to take it back to where Steve was at, you have to make sure you are paying attention to who these people truly are and what they're truly saying, right? You have to be careful with who they are. You have to.
So listen, enough with them clowns. I'm gonna call it what it is, right? Fucking clowns. Diddy is old. He's expired. There's no inspiration coming out of that camp. So check it. I just dropped a link there, right? This is a gem because I didn't want to leave y'all with nothing. You connect your own dots. I'm gonna just drop something. So That's the company. 350 million people in Africa don't have access to bank accounts, right? Only 20% of Africa, right, have formal bank accounts. See where I'm going with this? This particular bank that I just dropped in here provides a real world solution for this problem. So what they do is they have 8 billion active prepaid SIM cards globally. They converted the SIM cards. So basically, when you put the SIM card inside of your phone in these emerging countries, it turns the phone into a bank, a virtual SIM card that's partnered with, guess what? Blockchain project. That's on y'all to find it. How much liquidity do you think will move through that blockchain? And it's a 1% project.
Man,
Banks are like, come on, you think people are just going to build banks in Africa? Like a real structure? That's old. Think about the last time you went into a bank to open a bank account. Like nobody's really doing that anymore. FinTech, Cash App, PayPal, like none of them require you to go somewhere and, divulge all this information and things like that. Ah, Jerry, you remember that one. So Jerry, already, you dialed into all the groups. So that's an easy put. That's a layup right there for you guys. And it's a big project. You guys all heard about it. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think you understand the magnitude of what's happening globally right now. So Yolanda, just so you understand, like the way where Champ and I find our information is we don't just deal in US, the US information and news cycle. You know what I'm saying? We're watching the emerging markets that are already testing the product with their citizens. You know what I'm saying? With those countries. That's why I gave you VChain years ago and kept tracking it and told you the partnership with Walmart, the partnership with BMW. Now, when in the VIP group, we'll start having, and those projects will start having a more of a deep dive because there's updated information that's happening with these situations. So think about it. Would you invest in the blockchain that's going to be holding 8 billion, pretty much new, these people are unbanked. And when you have friends who are influential, so I have a friend who used to play in NFL, he's an actual fisherman now. So he has a big fisherman contract in Africa. So he was running the play-by to me, and he wants me to assist him with some digital stuff. But I kind of took a back seat to it because what I learned that happened was they gave him a U.S. company, right? He has to be registered as a minority investor or whatever for him to qualify for the money. But not only did they give him the money, but they gave him some stipulations behind it, and he took it, right? So one of the stipulations was the emerging countries that he's going to create the fishing process for the countries in Africa. They're allowing another company that's putting up the money. They're going to pretty much backdoor through him, and they're going to start to get these people banked. So do you understand there's like new liquidity all over the world that people are trying to tap into right now? Because it's never been tapped into before. So when you think of a country like Haiti, most of the money that's flowing into Haiti is from United States citizens who are sending money back home. That's how these economies are. Most of these economies in these emerging countries, this is how they operate, right? So I'm just telling you guys that there's so much opportunity. And if we stay focused on how much the United States is burning or how bad inflation is going to get, because they're gonna drop these treasury bonds on us. When BRICS Nation comes, this inflation is going to go up. So I'm just telling you that we may not be able to afford $9 gas every single day. There's literally people now at $4 or $5 that are spending more. I had a tenant in Detroit at one of my units. This kid didn't have a car. He was taking an Airbnb to work. Motherfucker was damn near breaking even. I'm like, what are you doing? He was better off cutting the grass at the property and he would have made more money.
he was taking Uber.
Make 500, he spends 400 to get to work. I couldn't make this up. He's no longer a tenant.
Wicked.
But I was just watching what this kid was doing with his life, man. All my tenants are like that. Like, I'm just like, I don't even get too deep with this stuff anymore. It's just like, listen, just, pay the rent. I mean, most of my tenants are on programs, but, just to even understand the mindset and Champ and I, we have another, real estate brokerage in New York. So we house the homeless. So we're dealing with, we're seeing things on the front line. So I'm hearing from my tenants. I'm hearing the issues that they're going through. I work with my contractors in Detroit. One of the things I tell, I love the people of Detroit too. They welcome me with open arms. Everybody's boots on the ground for you. Like that's the one thing. Detroit feels like the South when I travel there. the amount of our people that I see, you know, at restaurants and everywhere I go, there's just a great energy in that city. So, you know, I watch my contractors, I watch like the supply houses, like fuck with my people all day. And I'm like, yo, why are you even talking to these guys like this? You know what I'm saying? And I'm an investor, so they handling me a bit differently, you know, but I notice our people just take whatever they get. And I'm like, no, you are valuable to their business, because they won't have a business if they don't have contractors. Take your business elsewhere. Listen, that invisible system situation, guys, the amount of research and data that Champ and I have done on it, it's scary as hell to think that this will happen. And I know it would happen because the way that they handled the pandemic and the way that everybody kind of flipped over and just conformed, I know that this is going to happen because we don't have enough people on our side to fight this fight right here. This is El Salvador. They let the crime get so bad out there, right? Now, this is the way that they took the rights away from even regular citizens who aren't even committing crimes. It got to a point where the police just stopped. So when they talk about defunding the police, they're going to give us the very thing that we're asking for. And then what happens is you have all these purge laws that are coming on. This is part of the VIP situation in these talks that we're going to have. The Supreme Court a couple months ago, what did they do? You have the right to bear arms. It don't matter what the state says, right? So we all have the right to bear arms at the Supreme Court level. That's the highest level. So what does that mean? You see what I'm saying? Historically, who has the most guns in this country? Legally, right? So it's a license to kill, and it's publicly known that a dead body can't testify, and this is why these guys keep beating these cases, even with the camera.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You don't know what led up to it. They're always scared of us. We're always a threat. That's enough. So when you start looking at these purge laws, you start looking at what's happening in other countries. We start to connect the dots with the citizens of El Salvador, where they were begging the government to do whatever they can to lower crime because they were victims. So now they could just stop and frisk. They could just pick people up. They don't have to read you any Miranda rights, nothing. They just picking people up. So of course crime went down, right? But at what cost to the citizens now? Now nobody has rights, even the people that aren't committing crimes. The same thing will happen in this country. And if anybody follows, and I did a post on it, and I'll drop this on my Instagram or on the Skype and Instagram page tomorrow. But Ray Dalio has a series of events that he's been calling. Everything has materialized. If anybody knows who Ray Dalio is, if you don't, you need to research him and you need to follow him. He has the biggest hedge fund in the United States. This guy has the most money under management. So Ray Dalio has been given, you know, where we're going. And Ray Dalio is a visionary because he actually reads and studies history. And this is how, and Warren Buffett and all these guys. So if you're not studying history, then you can't see what's about to happen in the future, because all of it is relative to each other. So, and this is why Champ and I are able to get this data, because we look at past, present, and future. So one of the final phases, and we're entering the final phase of Ray Dalio's kind of chart. And it's scary because the final act is civil war. The final act is civil war. So we can't think that we can't get there, right? We for sure can get there at a blink of an eye, because we know that they can make anything look like anything on the media. Because it's funny, because my wife would say, damn, it's crazy because we didn't hear any ambulances during the pandemic. And this is not to take away from the people that passed away at all. I'm just telling you that it was not as detrimental as they made it seem. You know what I'm saying? Because we were operating a year without any protection. And then all of a sudden, when some protection comes, now we just lost all. Like, there was literally times in Philly where we were like, oh, we really can't go to them restaurants today. Because we had no clue. Philly was really on that shit. We called a restaurant up. They're like, yeah, you need to show your card. And I purposely didn't get a fake card. I'm like, I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Not doing it.
Yeah, this next one going to be nasty work. So
guys, just to let you know, just don't be in places where you're just tolerated. And that's the thing with us. They just tolerate us. Yeah. You know, start making some moves and start getting into rooms where you're actually celebrated. So when you have somebody who's new in real estate who happens to be in the right group, she can get business without even having to do cold calling, because I'm giving it to her. I have that power to do that. Because I don't have to answer to nobody.
Mm-hmm.
So I invest in people who invest in me. And this is what this group is about. My cousin's in here. She does graphic design. You know, same situation. Any chance I get, I put her on to somebody. That's, you know, it's a tough emerging industry with AI and all things going, but it's a little deeper than just, you know, this AI thing is a bubble. It's about to pop in a minute, guys. You don't understand the power of this technology and how much it can deteriorate the fabric of our society. You know, I just use it as a tool, not as a replacement to think. So now you got dudes loading up. You know how much time and energy Champ and I put into creating these ebooks, like actually collecting this data? And then just to think that you could speak into some and it's just somebody's just going to go ahead and just do a webinar and then just sell millions of dollars worth of product because they shot something on a private jet. This is what the fuck people are doing to our people. And I'm almost tempted to just get on the wave like that and just serve up the good work. But I'm not trying to put my safety out there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and my loved ones over the fact of looking rich. And even if we did partake in this and you could look down our timelines and see, you might catch a glimpse of something here and there, but it's not who we are at the end of the day. Yeah, I'm over being tolerated. And Barb is she's the elder of all of us. You know, the one that I know put in the most work, the one that, you know, and at that age, guys, I'm just, even where I'm at now with being in my mid 40s, I'm not retaining, you know, I'm not as sharp as I used to be. So I could only imagine you add another 20, 30 years to that. You know, this lady came in and she grabbed it by storm.
No holds barred.
At all.
Mm-hmm.
You know, didn't ask too many questions, like analyzes this on her own and comes back with super value. And I'm like, oh, she gets it. And she's doing it for the next generation.
Absolutely. Kudos to you, Barbara.
So our first talk is going to be next week. We're only posting in a VIP. Do not share the link with anybody else. I'm not going to be on here to verify who's VIP, who's not. Listen, there's some people in the VIP that canceled, that don't have no longer membership but still have access. I ain't even tripping on y'all. You know what I'm saying? You know who you are. Come in, get the value. If you see it valuable and it's working for you, and then do what you got to do. If not, partake in it and enjoy it. I don't have the bandwidth to go backwards.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't mean cancel right now and think you're going to stay in. I'm blitzing everything from this call on. You know what I'm saying? But everything prior is just, you know, we'll get to that. But it's our turn to really show you guys a fuller picture of what to expect. So next week, we'll probably end up just kind of doing the Wednesdays. We're just eliminating that Dot Connect Wednesday situation. Because we've had, and the crazy part about the Dot Connect is most people that weren't part of university actually got more out of it than the people who are really part of university. Because I got guys who've been following us for 2 years, and they showing me I got a guy that sold properties in Philly, and he's holding a bigger XRP bag than I am, ×2. And I'm like, God damn. He's like, listen, it was all because of you and Champ. And I'm like, all right, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so there's the ones in the backgrounds that are executing just off of the free stuff that we put out, and then the people within the group can't even read in between the lines. So when I gave you guys that bank, you know, how many people you think researched it like right now, have it up? Pretty sure some people left that link alone. The minute we close this out, you're gonna be asking for the link.
Mm-hmm.
Telling you guys, man, 8 billion SIM cards that are turning things into global. Think about it. You think out of those 8 billion people, they're not gonna have at least $1 running through their account? So we're talking about $8 billion. So you think it's far-fetched that they might not have $100 coming in and out of those accounts per month?
Yeah.
All right. I'm just telling you that there's new liquidity coming into these blockchains, and at a blink of an eye, that shit's going to go from 11 cents to $11,000. And that's the worst part. I don't want to hear the woulda, coulda, shoulda. Do not bring that shit and that energy back into the chat. Especially if you took the boot camp and you're in the 1% group. If you missed the bus, that you were destined to miss the bus at that point.
That's by design.
And then on top of it, even if you were in the 1%, like I told Champ, even if I had 1,000 XRP right now and somebody else had 100,000, that guy with the 100,000 has a multitude of selling points. He might even have a $10 selling price. And he may be great at that point. And I knew guys that at 90 something, at 90 cents the other day, that sold a big portion of their bag. They made $250,000, but I'm like, I wouldn't have did that. But again, you don't know what their cost of money is to operate this. A lot of these guys were financing the buys. Now that we're getting closer, we have the financing company. I will finance my buys. You know what I'm saying? Champ and I just been in it for damn near a decade. Right. So it's like, there's no way that I'm financing some shit thinking I'm gonna pay a monthly nut for 10 years. But now that we're getting closer and closer to that mass adoption situation, now that XRP can, everything in time could moon over 50% in a day just by the news, right? Nobody even knows the use case. That was just the news. Because truth be told, XRP is supposed to be 2 behind ETH. XRP should easily be a $4,000 coin.
Easily.
If it wasn't for that lawsuit. ETH was nowhere in the conversation when we first got started. And you can go back to the data. Go to CoinMarketCap. Go back and look at the top 5 cryptos from 2009 to date and tell me when ETH came about.
And it's still in beta.
But I'm done.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we out of here.
Yo, get your water, test your water, guys. That thing is giving you exactly what's in your water. And then once I put my system in, I'm able to test for the purities too, and those levels were not there. So if anybody needs more information on that, come back to the Health and Wellness channel. Just get the most out of this group that you can, guys. Stop ignoring the obvious and what's happening right now. It's not about money because there's not enough of it to go around right now. It's out of circulation. It's in a few hands and they're not letting it go right now. What are they doing? These guys do this every 7 to 8 years. They reset the market, right? The same real estate developers, the same banks, they do the same exact situation. Now, I found out today that the airlines, when they took that money from COVID, they had to disclose their financials. There's no airline running a profitable business. Does anybody know how McDonald's makes its money? That's the old question, right? Everybody kind of knows this, right? McDonald's is in the what game? Selling burgers, real estate, right? Does anybody know how airlines make their money?
Checking bags.
Nope. Airlines are banks.
Somebody said Air State.
They said what?
No.
Airlines are banks, right? So when you look at their disclosures from COVID, they were showing American Airlines is showing a negative $8 billion on their books, negative, but they're showing a positive $20 billion from their credit cards. So all those credit cards and everything. Anybody that issues your credit card is an issuing bank. They're profitable on the credit card to have you earn reward points to travel more with them.
Wow.
20 billion. Airlines are banks. One of the biggest banks is Starbucks. We are aware of that? That Starbucks card that these people put money on to buy, they're prepaying their coffee. Starbucks is actually using that money to make money.
Oh, that's wild.
Starbucks is a bank. It's one of the biggest banks in the world. So when we say we're teaching you how to be your own bank, this is, guys, at $50 a month, like, chill out. We got y'all. You know what I'm saying? We got y'all. Because if we don't know how to operate and become a bank, you're not going to be able to survive in this new era. So part of the VIP too is to understand the status correction. Champ's been working on that. I got my guy Lance in here. He's been putting the work in here. Guys, it don't matter at the end of the day. You could get $300 million off of XRP. If you don't have the correct status, they can block that account and you have no access to it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, just here to drop a little knowledge on that.
Listen,
$20 billion American Airlines.
That's insane.
Credit card fees. is the name of the game.
Follow that money, man. Lead you to the pot of gold every time.
Every single time.
My goodness.
Every time. I thought they made it off of bags too, because they over here, I'm like, shit, you gonna charge me to buckle my seat? Like, what else?
Right. Seat selection, $100.
Right. First in line, $10. You know,
Carry on.
bathroom, private bathroom, $1 million. I don't know, man. It's shit is dumb. But yeah, they're actual banks, guys. So we have to look at now we have to define what a bank actually is, right? And crypto really is the sidestep to all of this. Self-custody. What are you at the bank for? Because they gave you a debit card in exchange. Now there's no more debit cards. So what are they doing for you? Once the integration comes, what would they do for you? Registration for FedNow, shit, champ. Just drop the link now so they can get started before we go to social media. This is the opt-in, the plan 2 dot.
Yeah.
Just register, guys. It's free to register. There is an upsell. There's a workbook. So all our master classes come with an actual workbook, $37. But you get the whole slides. You don't have to take notes, and then we have the bonus material, which is in there. So you're actually getting. So if you're not in the VIP and you don't know how to do the cell phone situation because it was only for VIP members, it's in that book also. So we teach you how to run your own cell phone network on a Helium situation. And then we put in how to short tether, which I think I gave to people in VIP and 1% also. So if you're not in there, I'm just telling you that there's super value in that book. And even if you're in the 1%, there's still value in that book because that book you're going to have to reference. Like I said, it's an invisible system. So some of these things are happening now. And then there's going to be some things between now and 2030 is the actual agenda for everything. So for one of the founders in EYL to out of their mouth to tell my man that they're not interested until this thing runs up, I'm done. I'm done. I've been done with those guys for my own personal reasons. You see what I'm saying? When you know as much as I know, I can see bullshit in comparison to somebody who may not know something. Right? Because nobody's fact checking any of these guys. I get in and I'm being called a hater. It's the biggest financial literacy platform, and you're not talking cryptocurrency or blockchain technology. And every single time that they ask Master Investor what the next biggest emerging industries are, he's talking about tech companies, and none of them are blockchain companies. And if I look, every single company that's going to pre-IPO, probably the next 95% of companies that are going to pre-IPO in the next year during a down economy are either crypto related or blockchain related. 95% of them. So it's just a lack of knowledge with those guys. Why? Because they follow the institutional guys. So when you follow institutional guys, they'll never give you information on things they don't make money on. They'll look at Champion and say, "Yo, y'all doing it all wrong." Feed them little bit by little bit. Keep them coming back.
Ain't it?
$13,000 for a lifetime membership to EYL InvestFest. $13,000.
$13K to party, and you left with nothing. You were just in the room.
This is just from people that we were there. We were hearing that Champ knew, that I knew in passing. My wife was like, "Yo, somebody was out there like, yo, anybody want a VIP wristband? I'm not coming back." Things like that were happening. And Kiara, you had boots on the ground. You know where we were at. What was the sentiment there?
A waste of my time.
And you high level.
Super.
You high level. It's not for people like us. I'm just telling you that now. So Diddy has one coming up for Revolt.
Yeah, that's September 22nd, I believe it was.
Drop if you have the email link. So EYL sent the email for the free event. Like you can get in for free. So they're charging, but through EYL as some type of partnership, they're giving you the general admission 3-day pass for free. So if you happen to be in Atlanta or in the area, or you want to go down there to travel, we'll just give you the code and then you put your information in.
Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, I'll just drop it in the Discord and I'll put it in the home.
All right, so he's putting it in just dropping in announcements and beginners.
Gotcha. And then check your Telegram before I post this link. I want to make sure it's the solid one for them.
What did you say? The SEU?
Oh shoot. Nah, I'm sending it to your person.
What did you send it the first time? You ain't put it in the wrong box, did you?
I did. Hold on. But it's out of there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
All right, bam. Just wanted to make a sure.
Give me share capabilities.
You should have it. I did multiple.
You do. All right. Oh. Show you a quick little video, guys. Sam, can you see that?
Yeah. So you're sharing it. Yep. We good.
You dropped the link for them.
I did.
We're ending on this.
In a world driven by technology and finance, a storm is brewing. As society evolves, so do the systems that govern it. Fed now, CBDCs, and the social credit system, terms that echo power, control, and the unknown. Yet in the pursuit of progress, one thing is certain. Understanding these systems is crucial. But what happens when ignorance prevails? When the masses remain in the dark? Disruption is inevitable. As the world moves forward, those left behind will feel the impact. Fed now and CBDCs are redefining the future of money, but their complexities demand attention. A social credit system might sound convenient, but it raises serious questions about privacy and individual freedoms. In a world of interconnectivity, ignorance is not bliss, it's dangerous. Empowerment begins with understanding. Knowledge becomes the catalyst for change. In the face of uncertainty, education becomes the weapon to shape the future we want. Empower yourself. Knowledge is power.
Champ, we smoked that.
Good looking.
Absolutely smoked that.
Good looking.
So listen, this is the new masterclass, guys. So we're looking to aim to do a masterclass a week moving forward in all types of stuff. You know what I'm saying? But all of it is going to be in conjunction with each other. So part one was long. I blacked out on that. That's the last time. If you didn't register for part one, you might want to get that one too. So Champ, you got the link for part one? And that's the plan2023.com.
Got it. That's the one above it. Got you.
So you can go ahead and register for both of them. You know, part one was long, but that was a good one. There was a lot of heat dropped in that. That was the past, present, and future. I made the connection between now, the pandemic, and the 1912 Spanish flu, which then took us into the Great Depression. And then whatever they're going to call this one, I'm sure they'll have a nice little name for it, but they still don't want to say recession. But this sitting president will not use that word recession under his regime. No one is really going to do that, but there will be no denying $10 gas at all. And you guys got to understand, they use a different metrics when they're telling us that we're not in a recession. They're looking at some dumbass reports, CPI, like things that aren't even practical. We just know that for every day that you wake up to go make money, you're dollar for dollar, you're not making any more, and your cost of living is actually going up. So inflation, in short, is a way that the government takes back the money from its citizens. That's what inflation is. And do you think wealthy people are caring about inflation right now at the rapid pace of the amount of wealth that they're accumulating? Not at all. So I'm just telling you guys that if you don't start to get a better relationship with money, these invisible systems right here will have you in a world that you don't want to be in. Because the money is, and I made a connection between programmable money, and I'll just tell you guys now, like, if you don't believe it, if you've ever grown up on WIC or Section 8 and all that stuff, that WIC is programmable money, right? It's when the government is in charge of giving you money and it tells you what you can or can't buy. And right now, WIC is digital. There's no more like that paper money. So all of this has been testing grounds. When you have a Section 8 voucher, there's only certain zip codes that even accepts that program. So it's a wild system, and I'm the champ and I are going to decode everything for you, so you are prepared for tomorrow. Now, whether you want to take heed to it, that's a different situation. The one thing I would tell you is do not spend the time trying to beat this into your friends and family. There's just a lot of wasted energy. Share it with them, but don't make it your calling card. You don't want that sort of pressure on your back. But I could tell you that when things shift, if they know that you got that crypto bag, just be ready for your phone to ring. You killed that. You killed that video.
Nah, you killed this right here. They needed to hear this. So I'm glad you did the heavy lifting.
Listen, guys, just get registered in this for this situation. I want you out front row and center to all these master classes. And if you can't make it, I'm only telling you this. The replay is going to be you'll get the replay the day after, and you'll have it, for lifetime also. So I gave you the play, champ. Pump faith on y'all.
Yeah, nah, 1% VIP, man. I'm gonna tap in. I got you.
Because I just gave it. So I gave you that bank. Research that bank. Make the connection between what they do to what blockchain they're working with, and then start to see the institutional guys that are behind this. Trust me, these guys are salivating at the fact that there is new money globally in the world right now that is going to be interconnected through digital currency. Interoperable. That's what I was going to say. Is that how they say it?
Interoperability. Absolutely. There you go.
So think about it. They're ready to connect money and everything at the speed of light. And I didn't even realize how slow money moves until I started to really research crypto. Like, just think about how long a cash transaction takes. Most of these kids working in the store right now do not know how to count change. Should be nuts. I'd like you just keep the change. Don't worry about it. These kids are asleep, man.
What'd you call it? What league?
Oh man, it's not even a D league anymore. These dudes, like, why are you even here? They literally, I go to these stores and they pulling out a cell phone. They're like, yeah, we can order it online. I'm like, I could have did that before I got here.
Right.
Inventory says you got 4 in stock, and somehow they find it. They sleep, but it's cool. Listen, I love and appreciate every single one of y'all to the core. I'm out. So next Wednesday, we pulling up day 1.
Let's get it.
In the Discord, just hit us with some topics behind the scenes of things that you'd want to see. I mean, we're touching everything: relationships, love, hate, black, white, race, gender. Right? I'm gonna say the shit that y'all don't want to say. And for all my ladies here, you got these males coming out, perpetuating, for so many years, you guys adopted, these communities. Now all of a sudden they coming for your neck, and there's a problem. Kids able to make changes on their own, be locking up parents for like fucking being a parent. Like, we're touching all topics.
All that, yeah.
And if you're not for it, then this ain't for you. Because we could agree to disagree. So this isn't one of those where it's like, there's rule here and whatever. No, I'm here. I'm open to understanding everybody's viewpoints. I just draw the line at the kids. I don't care what any adult does with themselves at all. Doesn't bother me. But I'm here to protect my children from adults. All right. Steve's out.
Champ's out. Sky
Take 'em
out. Listen, man, greatly appreciate y'all for being here. Another one for the books. We'll see y'all next week, September 13th. Invisible System, FedNow, CBDC, Social Credit System Masterclass.
Oh shit, let me take that back. Off record. We can't do next Wednesday because it's the master class. So we'll give you another date though. We're not going to wait another week.
Let's do it.
Register, guys. I'm telling you. Get on this one.
All right, y'all. We out.
Champ, call my phone.
Peace.
Peace.